guys today. All right, let's just go and discuss this matter with you guys today. So, I want to discuss about this matter with you guys. It's very, very important we talk about this, and we will be discussing the most important matters of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy again, and we are back live on TikTok, and we're also live on YouTube. Make sure you are joining us. If you are joining us, take your mic and be part of the conversations going forward. While I wait for people to join me on YouTube and also on our TikTok platform, I want to welcome those of you guys that are joining already. If you don't know me, my name is Ben Samuel and I run this page. If you can hear me on TikTok, let me know that you can hear me. It's very, very important for those of you guys that are joining on TikTok. If you can hear me, just give me a hands up, especially the two people that are joining first. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Very, very important because I have a different microphone on. Let me try to share it to a few of our followers. We're gonna share it. We're gonna share it. We're gonna share it. We're gonna share it. We're gonna share it, and I hopefully um, people will join us while we have also a very contemporary conversations about some of this topic that I put on there. And if you are not a fan of the topic on the screen at the moment, I do beg you to forgive me. As I said, my platform is different. When I think of something and I want to discuss about it, I just discuss about it. And I, with all due respect for those of you guys that may not necessarily agreed with what I am saying. But of course, I do not disrespect your opinion. I just wanted to have a conversation, which I believe is the most important dialogue we can have as people. As a host, I will be more than kind to bring everyone in to have their say. But one thing I will not take is people abusing each other on the platform. When you are, if you are sharing your opinion, have respect for other people's opinion as well. What we are doing here, we do not make policy and we do not have power to change anybody's mind. We have power to discuss and dialogue and have a robust conversation about the way forward for the nationhood that we call Nigeria. So if you're joining me for the first time, I want to thank you for joining. I'm live on YouTube and I'm also live on our beautiful TikTok families coming in to join us right now. I ask you to support the platform. Gifting us is one of the things that I've started accepting. We are more than welcome to gift us because what we are doing is quite very interesting. We are bringing conversation in. My own objective is not majorly based on profit, but also we appreciate any gift you are giving to us. Most especially, we appreciate your support. We appreciate your contribution. We appreciate your voice. Me especially appreciate your voice. I want to thank you for being part of us. Yesterday we are live for about 2 hours. We discussed a lengthy conversation. Today, the topic I want to discuss about today is Nigeria as a state. The reason I brought this topic out today, I will tell you in a movement. It's very important as young people or as people in diaspora. We have seen a lot. We have seen how things works, and we constantly complain about colonial master, colonial rule, the slavery, the colonialism that destroy Africa. We talk about this all the time. And this is why I'm also very happy that social media is now allowing us to discuss politics in an open term. I am very happy about that because for a very long time, we can't talk about politics. They will restrict us, especially Facebook page. And I'm not really on Facebook page because of that kind of their nonsense. I stopped using Facebook for a very long time now. What I do is that when I share something on Instagram, sometimes it appears on Facebook. Yes, so the topic I want to discuss today, I said Nigeria as a state must be divided for it to have a chance to achieve a nationhood. That is what I mean, and that is exactly where I'm standing. A lot of you guys may not agree with me. People will call me a separatist. People will say, oh, you want Nigeria to divide. You want Nigeria to divide. Now, I have a question for those opinion. I want you to tell me what you are benefiting as a Nigerian. I want you to tell me what made you a Nigerian. If you can basically give me that, maybe I can work with it. I want you to tell me, is it your skin? Is it your country? Is it the geographical area of your location of the country that made you a Nigerian? What makes you a Nigerian? Very, very important. If you can give me that answer. Before we go further, that will be the question that I'll be asking people. What makes you a Nigerian? Why do you believe Nigeria is a state that you should be proud of? For me, I have looked left, I have looked right. I don't look left and right, and I come to the conclusion, say this country or where you see so, you know, go fit achieve it aim as one nation. We feel they pretend to ourselves, or we feel they lie to ourselves, we feel they talk about this, oh, this country will be better, this country go better, this country go better, it go better. My papa talk like that, you know better. My papa talk like that, he know better. Now, I dey talk like that. I dey talk like that. Nigeria go better. Nigeria go better. What you go make? Okay, what actually makes you a Nigerian? I'm beginning to. I'm asking this question in an open time now for those of you guys that are skeptical about the division of the country in the future. What makes you a Nigerian? Why do you think you are a Nigerian? What makes you believe you are a Nigerian? Very, very important. That's a question that I need to ask people. Is it the land? Is it the food? Is it the language? And what is the language that made you a Nigerian? Because there are things you need to be proud of. Because listen, I really want to say this today. The people that left Nigeria the way Nigeria is know exactly what they are doing. There are the most important article that make a country. It is language, it's food, and culture. These are the three particles that made a country. Not even the economy. You're not talking about the economy yet. You're not talking about the economy. There are three particles that made a country a country. Food, language, culture. And I said it again, food, language, culture. Now, if you go to India, you see Indian food. If you go to Europe, you see European food. Even within the European country, the 28 countries in Europe, every country in Europe have their own food, have their own language, have their own culture. And you don't see them merging together as one culture. You don't see Germany, as close as they are to Austria, they have a different culture. If you go to Germany, they speak German. If you go to Austria, they speak Austrian, a little bit different from Germany, from German language. If you go to Switzerland, in short, Switzerland is a typical example of what I'm actually about to talk about here. If you go to Netherlands, they have Dutch and they speak Dutch and they have their food. And the food you get in a restaurant in Dutch is different from the food you get in a restaurant in Germany. If you go to France, they have their food. The food you get in France is different from the food you get in Belgium, and they are very close. They have a different language. I hope you're hearing. If you go to Iran, Iran have their food. If you go to Pakistan, Pakistan have their food. Now, if you now proceeded to go to Iraq, Iraq have their food. They have their language. If you go to Bolivia, Bolivia have their food different from other Southern America. If you go to Bahama, Bahama have their food. If you go to Haiti, Haiti have their food. They have their culture. If you come to England, English people have fish. Then if you go to Northern Ireland, they have their food. If you go to Scotland, they have their food. They have their language. They have their culture. If you go to Ghana, they have their food. Thank you. They have their culture. They have their language. Now, this is one thing that make a country, the most important thing that make a country is your language. I hope you guys can, we have 5 people, because this is a topic that people don't like to discuss. But you know, as I've told you guys, I discuss open. My platform is not an agenda-driven platform. I am not for Yoruba. I'm not for Igbo. I'm not for Hausa. I'm not for Igbira. I am for human thinking, logical thinking. For me, Nigeria as a state is already failed from the day they joined them together. So the best thing that can happen is that country must be divided. The reason you see so much injustice and inequality and corruption is because of that joined together. We grow up hating on each other because we have never seen ourselves as one. But the people that join us together, that are benefiting, they don't want you to think about that. They don't want you to talk about it. They say, oh, one Nigeria. The present president of Nigeria, who preached one Nigeria, used to literally advocate for separate Nigeria, for Dudua nation. For those of you guys who don't know, Tinubu used to advocate for that. I hope you guys can hear me. Thank you. Especially on YouTube, if you can hear me, thank you. Tinubu used to advocate for that. I want you to share it. Please, I don't mind if you disagree with what I'm saying. Very, very important. It's okay if you actually disagree with it, but at least listen and give me a superior reason why you believe what you believe. Convince me to drop this idea with statistic, with fact. If you go to Latvia, Latvia have their food. If you go to Lithuania, listen, Lithuania, Latvia, they are one country, they are one people, but different language. If you go to Romania, you can hear Romania, Latvia, Lithuania. What divides them is language. What makes them a country is their language, culture, and the people. Now here you have Nigeria. With the last time I checked, Nigeria, I don't want to just assume. I don't want to assume. Nigeria is the multinational state inhabited by more than 250 ethnic groups, speaking 500 distinct languages, all identified with varieties of culture. That is Nigeria. So we have all this culture, we have all these varieties of people, we have all these different kind of people come together as a country. The British that left that country in that state, they knew exactly what they were doing. And the last time I had this conversation, somebody called me and tried to educate me. A Nigerian who believed in one Nigeria called me and tried to educate me. And the guy was telling me about why he believed that the British are not to be blamed, that Nigerian people made that choice for themselves and they are staying with it, because he was giving me a lot of reason why Nigeria should be one. And one of the reasons he gave to me was that that we are better together as one nation. And he gave me all this cock and bull story. And then he said that the reason why it's like that, we can't really blame the British because it was Uzogo, Ojukwu, whatever. But I asked the person, do you think those people make those decisions to call for division of the country at that early age of the nationhood on their own, or the uniting the country together as one? Somebody has to engineer it. It has to be engineered by somebody, somehow, somewhere. I personally still believe that this country is too big, is too vast, is too indifferent to be one. And its people will never achieve its objective, its aim in the next 100 years. In short, in the next 300 years. Because it's going to be we inheriting the same kind of sentiment, the same kind of injustice, the same kind of division, the same kind of pretending that we are one country when we are not one country. And I want you to tell me what makes you a Nigerian. Or a lot of you guys will say, oh, Nigerian, we have whiskey, we have Davido. You don't even know your food. If you travel to the northern part of Nigeria, they eat different kind of food. If you travel to eastern part of Nigeria, they eat their own food. Now, if you go to the Yoruba land, they eat their own food. Then we are speaking English to communicate with each other. The reason why a lot of people don't like to discuss about this topic, because it's a very hot topic. It's a very hot topic. But Nigerians like to pretend to themselves. They like to lie to themselves. They like to say, oh, things are working. What is working? I want you to tell me, what, as an Hausa guy watching me right now, what connects you with an Igbo man? What unites you with an Igbo man? As a Yoruba man, what connects you with an Hausa man? What join you together as one? I want you to tell me. Religion, food, language, what? Or the name Nigeria, green, white, green. Is that what connects us together as one? It is an insult for a Scottish man to see himself as an English. A Scottish guy. Let me tell you something. People are so afraid of fighting. Say, oh, it's for peace to reign, we have to remain one. Go and check the history of Europe. They were fighting war like never before. Everybody have to fight to survive in Europe before everybody agree. Why do you think the British did not colonize any country in Europe? It's because they were fighting and no agree for anybody. Why do you think the British did not colonize any country in European? Everybody stand their ground. They protect their language. They protect their food. They protect their identity. The British did not colonize any country in Europe. They colonized all the countries in Africa because we allowed them. The British cannot even colonize Northern Ireland. They cannot colonize Scotland. If you ask a British government a question, they will tell you Nigeria is better to remain one. Why do you think they are telling you like that? Or you think they love you? You think, oh, these people love us. They don't like us to talk about division. We are united, big country. What are we big for? Wetin make us big? I want somebody to tell me. Thank you, Maria, watching from US. Thank you so much. For those of you guys on YouTube, please, if you can share, I will appreciate it as well. Wetin make us one country? Make somebody tell me. Wazobia, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. I've just told you now that Nigeria have 250 ethnic groups. So if what makes you a country is Wazobia, then you are already an oppressor. It's already a failed language. It's already a failed state in its ramification. What makes you one nation? Let us be honest with ourselves. We don't eat the same food. We don't speak the same language. We don't have the same culture. We don't tolerate each other. Just because me and you speak this borrowed language, we borrow the English. We're not even speaking it well. The English was given to us by the British. We are using it to govern ourselves. I want to give you an example. Macron, the French president, speak English very well. All of the European presidents speak English. But every time they come to UK and they are talking, they talk their language. Why do you think they do that? They get interpreter. The Chinese prime minister speak beautiful English. But when he's meeting with international leader, what does he speak? No, somebody on TikTok should answer me, because this has to be a two-way communication. What does the Chinese prime minister speak when he meet with international leaders? They bring an interpreter and they speak their language. Why do you think they are not speaking English to an English prime minister? Why do you think they are not speaking English to an English prime minister? Nobody like to throw away their culture. Because what makes you a country is your language, your food, your culture. Your language, your food, your culture. But the language we are using in Nigeria, it's a borrowed one. Nobody we get them. And we're not even good at it. It's a borrowed one. Nobody we get them. And we're not even good at it. But we are using it to govern ourselves. So this topic that I am discussing today is on my mind. I want to play something for you. For those of you guys who don't speak Yoruba, this is Sunday Igboho. I am not a supporter of Sunday Igboho, but I'm a supporter of truth. When somebody speaks the truth, you have to listen to them, regardless of where it's coming from. It could be bias. But what he's trying to say now is that when you called him a Nigeria, he was never happy. But when you call him Omo Yoruba, he's happy. He's talking about the language. But people like to pretend. We like to pretend. I am a Nigerian. I am a Nigerian. Every time you are shouting, I am a Nigerian, you are basically laundering image for those people in power or those people that make that possible, that we call ourselves one country, which we are not even one country. I want you to just help me out here, please, guys. For those of you guys that are on YouTube, the Hausa population plus the Fulani population, if I'm not lying, is about 100 million. Yes, and I mean this thing. The Hausa population, the Fulani population, let me just bring it down to 80 million. The Yoruba population, let me bring it out to 70 million. Please don't argue with me about I'm getting the number wrong. I'm only using example. The Igbo population, let me bring it also to 70 million. Then other ethnic group across the country, all the Bini, Igira, Igala, TV, all these tribes, let me just bring them in. So you mean you accept that over 80 million Hausa who have a complete different culture, different identity, different food, different religion, everything about them is different from a Yoruba man from the West. Everything about Yoruba man and Hausa man is different. Yoruba man worship Songo, worship Ogun, eat anything, worship anything, do their thing, have their identity, have their language, have their culture. Then go back to the eastern part with 70 million Igbo, eat their food, speak their language, and Oyibo sit down and say, "Una be one." It join una together. He said, "Carry on, be one. You're one united nation." But here you are, England, who orchestrated that mission, is 68 million. The whole population of United Kingdom is less than 70 million. And that includes 3 countries in the United Kingdom. We're talking about England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, actually 4 countries. And combine all of the population of this country together, they are not up to the population of Hausa. They are not up to the population of the Northerners. With their 68 million, the people said, "We want Scotland." They have their Scotland. They have their parliament. They have their first minister. They have their money. They have their food. They have their culture. The people of Wales will want Wales. They have their first minister. They have their House of Parliament. They have their food. They have their culture. They have their money. The people of Northern Ireland, they have their food. They have their prime minister. They have their culture. And they are just 68 million. There is no anything. Any foreign culture you see in this country is we are visitors. We are the migrant that came. And then those people who made it possible to join Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo together and all other ethnic groups and name us one Nigeria is telling you that you are better together as one country, and you too, you agree. Adibin is working, we wouldn't have a problem. But it has not worked since the inspection of the country. Since 1960, Nigeria have never worked, and it's not going to work for the next 100 years. This is not predicting doom, it's the reality. There is no way it will work. We have no shared identity, we have no shared interest, we have no shared culture, we have no shared nothing together. We have nothing in common. Zero. Anybody who is telling you it will work, he's looking for his own pocket. I saw a video the other day. Wike was talking. Oh, Nigeria have a university. Nigeria have a university that can train a lawyer. What are you talking about? Nigeria have a university that can train a lawyer. A lawyer. How would you send your child to UK to go and study when we can have Nigeria, when we can have a law school, when we have a great law school? Wike, his son just graduated in London. Wike's son just graduated in London. All of Buhari children graduated in London. They have houses in central London. These are the people advocating for your one Nigeria. For your one Nigeria. It is a concentration camp. Nothing will work. When I speak like this, poor people that have already been defeated will argue with me. But the leaders of the country know exactly what I'm talking about. They know. They have the manuscript in their hand. They have the manuscript in their hand. They know it will not work. But we can pretend to ourselves every day and say it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. When is it going to work? When is it going to work? There's somebody on YouTube at the moment. His name is Christian Muyiwa. Christian Muyiwa is basically running his head now because it's Mr. Nigeria. He said, you're just trying to cause war. Christian Muyiwa, nobody is trying to cause war. The European fight war to be where they are today. Give me example of why. Because your Tinubu is your president now. Now you are one Nigeria. The kind thunder we go fire you, na Sambisa forest in the cooker. I want to bring you up. Give me a reasonable argument and come with alternative fact. If you can come live, I am going to invite you and I want you to come and tell me, Christian Muyiwa, I'm looking for you to invite you. Don't be shy. Come with your wisdom. Give me alternative. You know, when I started this podcast this afternoon, I did warn people. Told you guys, I said, listen, these are my opinion. These are my desire. These are my fact. These are the things I want to talk about. I agree with you. You have your own perspective about one Nigeria. And I have my own perspective about one Nigeria. But if you are going to disagree with me, you have to disagree with me with fact. You don't just come here and call me thieves and call me bad person and call me I am trying to divide the country. No, I want you to tell me why we should continue advocating for this entity called Nigeria. I want you to tell me, I am begging you. Yes, I want you to tell me why. Because if we do not have this conversation, we are living in illusion. We are living in illusion. And that is why I am giving you empirical fact based on historical fact of what has happened in Europe, what is happening in England, in the United Kingdom, the one that colonized us. We have a lot of problem, and the people are one of the problem. But we don't have a self-identity. And I want a Yoruba man here to tell me, what is your connection with Hausa? What makes you a Nigerian? I want a Gbira man to tell me what makes you a Nigerian. I want Igbo man to tell me what makes you a Nigerian. Is it what makes you? Is it because the only thing that made you a Nigerian is the green, white, green. Green, white, green. That is what made you a Nigerian. Emmanuel, I am going to add you. Hopefully you can come live with me. Thank you, Emmanuel. You're welcome. The topic I am discussing, thank you, Mr. Abiodun. I want to invite Mr. Abiodun because, listen, the problem is this. We like to pretend. And on my podcast, I have refused to pretend. I have refused to pretend. What I do when I come live, I say it the way I think. I invoke anger. I invoke thought. I want people to be able to express themselves. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Ben, good morning.
Good morning.
My thought on this issue is very simple, right?
Yes, sir.
Honestly, Nigeria cannot work the way it is currently structured. We all know that for a fact, right? But I believe we can work as a nation. And I believe for us to work as a nation, Nigeria must practice true confederalism. What is the effect of true confederalism? It would have the effect of taking out power in Abuja. Because currently, I'm not going to lie to you, I believe that people that are canvassing for one Nigeria are canvassing for it because of what they stand to benefit. And I can tell you that Nigeria is one country today because of the all natural resources that we have situated in the southern part of Nigeria. So in order for Nigeria to work and work effectively, I want Nigeria to practice true confederalism, whereby the regions will stay on every region will stay on their own, harness their resources, compete with other regions to harness resources, to give the best, to bring out the best of that region, and contribute to the maintenance of Abuja. I want the power in Abuja to be decentralized. I want the regional government, the regions to become more powerful than Abuja. If we can achieve this, every region, the southwest, they can go back, to the drawing board, focus on the cocoa. They have cocoa out there, produce cocoa. They harness the resources they have there, the team all they have. The southeastern part of Nigeria, some parts of the southeastern part of Nigeria have oil. We harness the oil we have. We harness coal that we have in Enugu. The southern part of Nigeria will focus on the oil. The northerners can go back and focus on agriculture, farming. If we can do this, I believe if we can do this, Nigeria can work effectively. I believe that one major problem we have in Nigeria today is laziness. People are lazy because they know that at the end of the month, that the monthly revenue will come from Abuja. Abuja will share money. People in the north are lazy. People in the southeast are lazy. People in the southwest are lazy. Everybody's waiting for what will come from Abuja. If we can kill that practice of waiting at the end of every month for what can come from Abuja or the one will come from Abuja, it will encourage us to become innovative. It will encourage us to, like I said, go back to the drawing board and make good use of the mineral resources that God has blessed Nigeria with. So I don't think we need to divide for Nigeria to work effectively.
Okay.
I believe we can work as one unit if we can practice true confederalism.
But that conversation, the true confederalism, is not different from what we had before the colonial handover to Nigeria. When the Queen was managing the country, we have what it takes. We have regional government. And at that time, the Queen sent the governors, Eastern region, Northern region, and the Southern region. So we have all this region, and everybody report back to the Queen. Now, my own opinion is this, and we can say we are going back to federalism or true federalism or whatever we called it, as you rightly say. I think we have so much indifferences for that country to work. Hello, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ben. That's what you're doing. You know, I mean, our prayer is for Nigeria to work. I haven't been somebody, I'm in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, luckily, I've been a social conscious person because of the people I grew up. To be honest with you, first thing first, you see that population of Nigeria, 200 million people. It is a gift. Luckily, I've been around a bit. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Ghana. You know, division will not make Nigeria work. Emmanuel has said a lot of things that I wanted to say, which is that confederalism says, first off, people need to be sincere. I can give you the one that I see because I'm watching what's happening in the East. If, say, for instance, they divide the country, it's going to turn into Sudan. First off, this Samuel Ekpa guy will not bow to anybody. I can assure you that. I can see that because I'm watching this. I'm watching what's going on. And I laugh. And I like Igbo people. This is why I like them. They believe, they have this self-belief. Igbo do not believe in Lankadede, Igbo Nauga. There will be division down the line. And that's not what's going to happen. First of all, we need to realize the fact that population is our strength. Everywhere I go, do you know, I say it proudly. Anywhere I go, they make Ovantina. I'm Nigerian. People pay attention because that is power. I've seen it. I use it. And when you look, get friends come, and I know we are not like that. If I ever stolen anything from it, no. I use that. I say it proudly that I'm Nigerian. You see people who watch because they know about us. They know, thank God for the video, Whiskey, they've done fantastically well. But what we need to do is to be sincere. That confederalism is talked about. That's the solution. And people need to be sincere. Look at what's happening in the North. People will not go to work. I know this for a fact. But when it's on payday, you will see them. You will go and collect salary. When I first got to UK, I almost died because my first job was warehouse. I've never stood for 8 hours before. But I did it. In Nigeria, I didn't do that. But when I go and I did it, after that I started romancing Aboniki. I'm sure you know about Aboniki. Aboniki, I've used more than 20 bottles. So people need to understand that work is work. People are not sincere.
Do you think they are not sincere because of the core?
Let me tell you what I mean by sincere.
Okay.
It doesn't matter my color because people that I've come across, I don't see tribe because of where I grew up in Sweden first time. Victoria land. So I don't see colors. I don't see tribe. I see people that are good people back then. Now, what I mean by sincere is this: when people start saying, "I don't like them," just give him one position. You see that person. It doesn't matter whether that person are okay or not. He will do it. But once they take them out, they start shouting. And I understand that's because everybody who's not brain will not be able to think properly. So we need to have a standard policy, which is that if you go down Chico before I left Nigeria, we're paying attention to what's going on. Government need to start first things. I'm a student of what's his name? This guy in America, Doctor. What's his name now? When you set up a society, you need 5 things. You need school, you need hospital, you need markets, you need water, you need those basic things. People are setting up society by themselves in the world. You don't develop a country like that. There has to be a structure. That's what I see in this Europe. There's a structure. Honestly, I feel I wanted to give us some time. I'm looking at it. It's not division. It is people need to be sincere. Our government, these guys, all of them, whether APC, whether it will be, when they look at when they start giving them cars, I was expecting those guys from people to say, guys, we don't need this car. Did you see what happened? It was so shameful. They accepted the cars. So it's now survivor. It's not sincere.
But can I tell you the root of that?
Yeah.
If I may tell you the root of that. The root of that is this. I don't often like to quote the Bible. Any house that is built on top of a sand will crush, will crumble. Nigeria, from a time immemorial, has been built on top of a sand, on top of lies. And we grow up inheriting lies upon lies upon lies. So it now become a culture for the people of that area. This is why you see the leaders in the position of power today. I'm just using Governor Wike as a typical example of, because it's the recent one, the guy that was out talking about how wonderful Nigerian universities are. No. But we have to really understand, these are the people that manage the country. So we have to take them serious. It is very, very important, because me and you have no chance to manage the country. They are in charge of the country. And this is son that just graduated now have more chance to manage the country than me and you. If God, if grace is not taking us. Yes.
I can't say it online. What we need is something close to what this Sarah report, I don't want to mention them, say there has to be a situation where something will explode and take out 7 people. My dad was one of them. My dad out and restart the process. This thing is never going to work. It's not. They need to restart. They need to go knock on door. What happened? On doors to door. I don't want to say it.
It will happen. Europe, let me tell you, my brother, European Union, before they got to where they are today, they fought among themselves. Every country wanted to take another country to themselves. And it's still going. The leftover country now, we're talking about Georgia, we're talking about Ukraine. They are still within that. If you now go back to China, you're talking about Hong Kong and China, territory control, language control. So it is we are pretending to ourselves until we are ready to confront. Do you know why that is not happening? I'm going to allow the other people to talk. I don't want to take over everything. Let other people talk. Go ahead, please. Somebody else should take over. Mr. Biodun, please stay with us. Good morning. Peter, where are you calling from? Nice one. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so from me, I think I listened to what this man just said now. I have to be sincere. The problem with we Nigerians is kind of like we live on lies. We love lies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is trying to come out and tell us reality. We don't want to face reality. That's just the problem. We have a lot of resources. But now when you believe everything has to come to Abuja before distributing to people, number one, that is no. Here in Canada, right, everybody have to use what they have in their provinces to build the economy. But unfortunately, Nigeria, everybody has to come back to Abuja. You know, Amechi said something like how many years ago? He said, Abuja, we just go Abuja and share money. Nothing they happen. This country not get free. You know, these people in power, they know that this country, Nigeria, it doesn't have any future. They are just enriching themselves. They are just making themselves richer. And the poor people are getting poorer. Now in Nigeria is just living like Indian. We don't have middle class again. If I left Nigeria, I believe I was kind of in the middle class. But now Nigeria is rich or poor. The poor get it poorer because we don't want to face reality. And you say something about revolution. Fine, that would be the best thing, but who wants to lead? Nobody wants to die. Nigeria would love enjoyment. Would like to live in denials. Because of what? Me, I don't want to die. We like to push people. And these people in power, they know that this thing has rotten. There's no going back. the best thing to do is just everybody go to their what's it called, geopolitical stuff like that. Divide this thing, maybe it's to 3 or maybe to 4, maybe to pieces. A lot of countries are not even more than, they are not even up to only on those state, Lagos State. They are surviving, they are good as a country. But unfortunately, Nigeria, because of the centralization, everybody want to get from where they did not sow. Everybody want to get from where they did not sow. Northern people, they don't want to do anything. They want to depend on Niger Delta oil and gas. They want to depend on those states, bitumen, all those stuff like that. I remember in Ondo State, we had bitumen. Babangida said if they will allow him to build the refinery in Mina, they will be exploring the bitumen.
In Kogi State, we have iron and melter, Ajakuta Steel Company, and nobody's looking at it.
That's not the problem. So me, I believe let them divide this country. If you have your state, you don't go allow your state the rotten. You go want to do what you get.
You know why I said I don't support division? Because if you look at that power, if everybody bring sincerity, bring your yam from Benue, you Delta, bring your body, you have all these professors, bring everything together. That will, oh my God, there is power. Yeah, we are not sincere.
That's what I just said, bros. Sincerity is lost in that country because even the foundation of our country is not based on sincerity. That's why we're having the same problem.
You see, if you divide it, I can tell you, Sunday go back and say to the leader, there will be more fight. It's sincerity.
But after some time, the fight will die down.
That is how it is. It is what happened in Europe. My brother.
Can I say something?
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ben. Sorry, I always look forward to your life. I want to just contribute.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
London, Canada. And like what my brother really said, Mr. Peter, I think the way forward, we want to divide Nigeria. That population is our strength. That population, once we scatter, nothing gives about us again. But see this restructuring we are talking about. For example, in London, when I came in, there was no job for like 5 months for me. Immediately, the government created an NGO for them to take us through the process of stabilizing in London. London is not a town under Toronto.
I know London. I know.
Are you getting it now? But you see, London fire, London this. Like he said, federal revenue service, federal is our problem. Now, why I say I don't want us to separate? I grew up in Okene, also in Kogi State.
You grew up in Okene, Egbira?
No, I know how to speak Egbira. In Okene, in Kwara State. But Okene, I speak in Osara,
Etemea. Etemea. Go ahead.
Now, there is division even in the villages. So if you say we should be slashing, how many are we going to slash it to? Yeah. Are you getting now? Among Ilorin, Kwara State, some people cannot become governor in Kwara State. In your state, they have people. In Enugu State, they have also another. So my own belief is, now, when I was in Okene in primary school, we had a functioning local government system that we have water board at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting it now? I remember my grandmother was a big farmer. If I don't want to call tribe here, please don't be angry. If they attack our farm, the king of that town and the local seller, they will motivate hunters that will chase those people back to the bush. Because we have government that is closer to people, but not everything is federal. So the only way forward is, one, everybody insults the president. I don't join those people. It's part of the problem. But the councillor you see every day, please, I know some people want to contribute. I also grew up in Lokoja. There's a place called Oworo Community before Kogi Poli. The guy that was, my name is here, so if anybody's hearing it, his name is Jaka.
Mm-hmm.
He was collecting contribution. He didn't go to school and all that. Suddenly, that the father became a king. If you see the kind of wealth the guy amassed, and we know it, and there's no water, there's no good road in that neighborhood, and he's building a big house, and nobody's holding him responsible, and people still be holding the president responsible. So I think if we are truthful to ourselves, the way they operate in all these other places, we need to go back. Let's hold our councillor responsible. We don't hold them responsible. How can people be doing protests and government will join you people? And you're happy that your government is joining you? Is it not part of the government? Are you getting it that you're happy? Is it not buying pure and it's insulting the president? Are you getting it now? Some of us, most of our friends are into Kogi State government now. Most of our, I can name almost 10 or 9 people that are working Kogi that are friends. And I know what they do.
Man of my friend told me clearly how much they paid him to join to work with INEC to rig election for this Odudu. Are you getting it now? He was not into in government. So these are people that will still come tomorrow and be insulting the president. I also work in government before I left Abuja. My boss, I will not call her name. All the money government used to give us for diesel, she has never gotten a diesel one day. That is one of the ways to lose money. Oh, and when people come to our side, they say, see government. I say, who is the government? They say it's the president. So by the time we centralize this power in our head, everybody insults the president. I'm not saying the president is not to be insulted, please. That's not my argument. But everybody is the government, wants to work with the government. And that's why I told people in Abuja, once we insult Buhari, I said, that are collecting salary from government, the government is also coming to us. So to me, it's not division. Among the Yoruba, there is division, except they are just lying. Among Igbo, Hausa people, I serve in Sokoto and I stayed in Sokoto, and also in Kaduna too. I know what is going on. Are you getting it now? So this centralized government is making everybody to be lazy. Sir, if you go to Sokoto, that land is too fight high. Yes, sir. I was the NDLA central president, so I traveled around the 23 local government almost like I was popular in Sokoto. I don't want to leave. And finally, sir, thank God, Mr. B, I don't even know that you're from Kogi. If you stay in Atako in the night, who plants cola more? I think probably the Yorubas. I don't have statistics. Because I have cola farm, I have cocoa farm in Kwara State. Now, who consumes cola more? The Northerners. Are you getting it now? The fruits, where are they coming from? The South. So if you go in the night, they call this tomato, they take it down to Akure, to Kwara State, and they go back with fruit to the north. That is how blessed Nigeria is. But today, we still don't know because we do centralized government.
Mr. Peter.
I'm stopping now. I know. And to a certain extent, that is why some little things I can give to this president is trying to shift power back to the people.
Mr. Peter. The conversation we are having at the moment does not mean that I am for left or I am for right. But we got to a position in the history of that country now that this kind of conversation is highly needed. And we're no longer ashamed of it to have this kind of conversation in a public platform. I am one of the people that actually believe in one Nigeria. I've advocated for it. I have fight everyone else for it almost all my life. I've had this platform for 7 years, and people that knows me know that where I stand when it comes to that. But when I look at left and right, when I look at right, when I look at left, when I look at history, I know that a conversation like this is needed in our domain. We cannot keep quiet anymore. There's so much that need to be said in nationhood called Nigeria, and our people are being victimized not to speak their mind when it comes to that. That country has not worked since 1960. We have an inherited culture of bias, injustice, unfairness, inequity among ourselves. And that goes down to the language, to the tribes that we're just talking about now. In Nigeria right now, Igbira people will protect Bello with all of their blood, okay? Because they believe Bello is the right person to lead Kogi State against Igala people. I hope you understand. Now, if you look at this kind of inheritance bias that we grow up to have, it's not coincident. And we cannot be shying away from the reality that is confronting us. Things must spoil before it gets fixed. Nigeria needs to speak the truth. It is not working. We can pretend from now and say the president is doing well, is devaluating the power, is giving the local government autonomous and all that. But the people are carrying the culture they've already inherited nationally to their various geographical area. That is why you see when somebody is employed, what he do is this: he favor his own people. He favor his tribal men. I'm going to use the president as a typical example, not just President Tinubu. I'm going to use President Buhari. I'm going to use all the previous presidents that come from the northern part of Nigeria. When they become the president of Nigeria, the first thing they will do. Please, if you're not talking, could you be kind to mute yourself, please? I will appreciate it. I don't want to be rude and start moving people. Thank you. So every president that come into the country, they have their own agenda. They believe in their own people. Buhari did it. When Buhari became a president, all of his national security advisors that matters, he give it to the northerners. The chief of army staff, he give it to the northerners. The chief of police, he give it to the northerners. Everything that matters in the state affair, he give it to the northerners. And you are still calling that a Nigeria that unite everyone? Now, we are talking about Nigeria that include Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. What about Nigeria that include Ebira? What about Nigeria that include Shekiri? What about Nigeria that include Igala? That include TV? My child have more chance to be prime minister of Canada, to be prime minister of the UK, to be prime minister, to be American president than Nigeria, because I'm a Bira man.
Mr. Ben, confederalism will have the effect of making Abuja less attractive. I am not going to lie to you. It will have the effect of making Abuja less attractive. If we can practice true confederalism, you will see that so many people will not care about the federal power, and the people will care about focusing on their region and making their region the best. It will encourage competition. People will go back. See, the Yorubas will go back.
But Hausa people will never allow that, because they don't believe in their own ability to be contributing into the national treasure. They believe that what is happening deposited in River State belong to them, but the gold that is deposited in Zamfara, in Borno, Hausa people claim that is their gold. How many of us on this platform now can say the gold in Borno State belong to you, the way you claim that the oil belong to Nigeria? How many of us can do that? I am telling you today, the people that basically hold this country backward is the northerners, and let's be honest about it.
So that is why the people in the southern part of it now should form and unite. And that is what they normally do. Are you getting it now? They are pitting
Yeah.
us against ourselves that we don't even unite against these people. If you look at it, like what everybody said, I think I'm happy with this discussion this morning, because this is like a solution. It's not like we are not even complaining now this morning. We're talking about solution. I think if you look at it, during election, they have northerners, but we don't have southerners. I'm not saying it's not against the south now. I'm just saying, since you have identified the problems now, the people that now know the solution should try and work together. There's too much division between all of us. From the southern part of it, it's too much, and that's why it is easier for anybody to share our election. Look at it. Even the Senate, you cannot win any vote. Any bill cannot be passed if the northerners are not in support.
Why? Why?
Where I work in Abuja, I didn't transfer.
Sorry, that's the constitutional fraud. That what you are saying now is a constitutional fraud.
I can cry to you. I've experienced it. I don't want to leave Nigeria. When I came back from South Korea 7 years ago, I said I will change Nigeria education sector and all that. Aggressive. I will not come where I've worked. When I got there, all the northerners in my place that wanted to transfer, they moved to a better agencies. I tried for 7 years, I couldn't transfer. I almost cried. Am I a slave in Nigeria? Are you getting it now? So some of us, we experience it a lot, and it's very painful. So but that's why today I always preach that unity between the southerners, not against the north, so that we can get the solution to Nigerians' problem.
Okay.
Are you getting it now?
Osla, I want to ask you a question. So how can we get the Southwesterners to always stay united with the South?
Okay.
Because I mean,
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You know what happened in 2015 when we had the Southern president, right? And we saw how the Southwesterners stood up with the North, right? The Southwesterners, they have a history of always standing up with the North against the interest of the Southerners. So, can you provide solution as to how we can get this people to
thank you very much.
Myopic Southern interest.
At my own myopic level, Japan were colonized by South Korea was colonized by Japan. But they tend to move ahead. First, we need to forgive ourselves. You see this Biafra, this story they've been telling us, it is a problem till tomorrow. It is a problem till our leaders that are also divided, our leaders both from the southwest, south, and southeast, they even our major problems in Nigeria. Are you getting it now?
Mm-hmm.
They have refused to unite us. Even the children that were not there when all these things happened, there's no point in telling the story of what happened. But the way the story is being told with anger and aggression.
And sentiment.
Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And sentiment. There can never be agreement. See, people will offend you. People will make mistakes. People were young. I'm not saying, I don't want to sit down and be analyzing what happened. But this one you can't rewrite, this one we write. So every time they are telling the story, they are not telling the story for you to know the history. They are telling us so that you can be angry and continue to fight. For how long can we continue to fight?
So that is the problem. In the north, they are also united in the north. But when it comes to fighting in Nigeria, they are united. Not central. Like look at what Mr. Sorry to say, Mr. I'm sorry, your tribe. The Okene people, Igala people, Kakanda people. Are they part of the north? Are they actually recognized as northerners? But when they want to do anything in Nigeria, they calculate all of that. What are people from Jos? So please, as you have said, sir, first, the southern people, our leaders, I think we need to start fighting them. When I say fight, please, I'm not saying war. We need to unite us. We are not united. Ordinary marriage. I was dating Igbo girl. The next thing they told me, Igbo. I grew up like this even in the rural village.
Does that not, okay, stop there, my brother. Does that not portray?
What you just said. Hello? Sorry, can I go on?
Go on, sir.
Okay, so to that, it is called suspicion. This is suspicion because I luckily I spent some time in the East, and trust me, this is me because I like to write and I watch things, and luckily because I spent a long time in Nigeria, and in my 40, like I said, those years I've been watching human beings. See, today I still watch human beings here. I can tell you Nigerians abroad are different from Nigerians here. So in the East, there's this suspicion on you, man. People when they say things, they tend to feel this is our own. No, not them, not one of them. Even though you are not detribalized, you don't have that flair. If you meet me, you'll never believe me because I look like the Delta Hawk. You will never believe. But people have this suspicion. Okay, look at me. Surely where I grew up, you will find a certain tribe. I don't want to say things that will offend people. That they live like a colony. They have this way. If I want to get a house, luckily because the Igbos are blessed, they are buying houses in Surulere. Guess what? If somebody buy a 4-bedroom house, and you go there, you want to get a flat. Say, oh, even though you have the money, work in MTN. The landlord who is an woman will want to. They have this meeting that they do every time a week, where people are being told, don't trust them, don't do this. And this is why I found very funny when they say divide the country. Do you honestly think that when they divide, I don't mean you, Mr. Ben, I'm talking a lot of people have that idea. Do you honestly think the people, my friend, Emeka, who is doing fantastic, is more a Yoruba man in Apapa than me, who is doing well, and grew up with this, my age is living well. Do you honestly think he moves to the East? They will continue to stay in the West just the same way. It is Matthau's theorem. I read this very early when I was around 70 years old. That when people get up, people move to where they can make money and survive. So you don't expect that when you divide country, I'm going to tell all those guys who live in Lagos to leave, or you start going to give them more passports and start paying tax, which eventually mean that Lagos will continue to be rich.
Mr. Abiodun, stop there a little bit. Let me hold your thought there. Mr. Willie, come up, please.
Okay, no problem. I'm here.
Go ahead.
All right. I've listened to everybody's contribution and solution. I think 100% very valuable. But what I'm looking at right here. Sorry, can somebody mute, please?
If you are not talking, could you be kind to mute yourself, please? Just remember to mute yourself so that other people can hear who is on the line to speak. We appreciate you, Emmanuel, if you mute yourself. I think your mic is still on. Thank you. It's off now. Go ahead, Mr. Well.
Thank you. So, what I've just listened and what I've deduced so far are my Nigerian brothers who, unfortunately, the situation of the country has made them become diasporans. Because from what I see I'm living in Nigeria. I'm in Lagos right now. But I can see all of you, Canada, UK, and the rest. So, in other words, what it means is that we are continually losing our best brain every time outside this country. And it's so sad and so painful. You understand? And I do not blame anybody because, if the country doesn't recognize you based on your potential and you have gone to school, you don't want it to be wasted, you take your bag and bag it and look for the best place that is ready to accommodate whatever you have acquired in terms of knowledge. So based on that, it is also the after effect of bad governance. And that's why you see our people leaving. When was the last time you see anybody from Connaught pack his bag and said he's heading to the US or the UK? They don't care. So there are two differences. We both want to sleep. There is somebody who is comfortable sleeping in a mat, and there's somebody who wants to sleep in a mattress. There are two different kind of. Now, because the fact that we've had this injustice for so long, it's more like look like a norm. You see, let me tell you the tactics here is that when the northern man rules or leads this nation, is leading it purely from the point of agenda, not the point of development. Do you understand?
Yes.
He's there for a mission. He has been briefed and he knows what he comes to do. And that's why when you say they just come there, take whatever share key positions to them, and when they make money, they send it back. But unfortunately, when a southern man becomes president, he wants to play nice man, play into the ego so that he will be loved by his northern brothers or his northern people for the next election. But I can tell you that things are beginning to change with the mindset of the kind of leader we have now, who is calling up bluff of so many things that used to be in the past a norm. See, let me tell you, if you ask many people, because I grew up in Lagos, in Warri and Lagos. If you ask many people down here in the south, if they want to be a pilot, where would they go? They have no idea. Many people don't know we have an aviation school in Zaria that has now been regionalized and decentralized to make opportunity available
for other areas.
For other areas. You understand? You can't do that. Now, let me tell you another thing again. See, there are many parts of the southern part of Nigeria who don't even know the process of how to become a military officer in Nigeria. Because all the military formations, recruitment, defense, and everything are highly concentrated in only one region, and it doesn't make sense. You know, at a time, there were times that a state like Enugu was having poor representation both in the military and in the police because they lost interest and they don't even know how to go about it. See, I have had enough time to screen the recruitment or the selection process in the Nigerian Defense Academy. And what I found out was that even for states like Anambra to fill in their quota, they struggled. And what are we talking? We're talking of a quota of 9 per state. But you see Zamfara having 13, 14 in a single year. So what it means is that until we begin to understand, just like Emmanuel said, confederation to me looks more like the best way to approach what we have. Look, my brother here is talking about Kogi State. If the steel in Ajaokuta is up and functional, I mean, we'll be in the same league with China in terms of steel production, and there is nothing that kickstarts an economy positively more than steel. And that's why you see the revolution you're seeing in China, the revolution you're seeing in India, is as a result of their steel industry. And this is what God has given us for 60 years. We have left it in comatose in Ajaokuta. And every president that comes in nominates a minister who goes there and enrich his pocket and leave it just exactly the way it's done.
I have a question for you. I have a question. Please give me a chance to ask this question, because when I put that topic in, I know this topic I put is controversial. It's going to make a lot of people even dislike me. Oh, Mr. Ben will like you. I don't believe that you are now a separatist. No. In a conversation, if you want to go to a conversation, you have to be controversial, and I put it there like that. Do you think some of these problems, these challenges that we are seeing, do you think, for example, if the Northerners will happen to be a country of their own and they have a Ajaokuta Steel Company treasure in their land, do you think they would have developed it?
They will have developed it 100%.
Do you also, do you think if the Yoruba have their own nation, for example, Oduduwa Nation, and they have a Ajaokuta Steel Company in Ogun State, and they know what that would do to the Yoruba Nation as one entity, they would have done it the same thing, right? And the Igbo would have done the same thing because they know this will benefit their state, their country as a region. Why do you think that every subsequent president have refused to do that? Is because everybody take to their place. As long as they are concerned, if they do it, they do it. It's none of their business. So the inheritance thing that we are talking about today is what I'm still talking about, that we are divided by so many things that I cannot sit down here at the age of 45 and tell you we can get it right. We are divided by tribe. We are divided by language. We are divided by culture. We are divided by everything. And our children are inheriting it. And it is so hard that we're not even coming to the table to realize this. We are not realizing it. We are not looking at it the way I have beginning to see it now, that a Yoruba man will prefer to develop his own region than Hausa will prefer to develop the whole Nigeria. That is why when you see Tinubu now devaluating these schools and saying that the School of Air Force should be divided across the country, the aviation and all those kind of training, I understand it. What about if another president come tomorrow and say, no, we are moving it back to where it belongs? Because it's like we are not treating the problem. We are basically surfacing it. We are not looking at the main problem. Tinubu wanted to move CBN to Lagos, which is a logical argument. Tinubu is a smart man. I don't believe Tinubu is a discriminatory guy. I don't believe Tinubu is a ruler that doesn't want to develop Nigeria. Age might not be on his side, and then a lot of corruption, a lot of interest. But as a man, Tinubu has shown himself to be a progressive man years after years. Okay, a lot of people might say, okay, I don't like the way Tinubu got into the presidency. Politics is a dirty game. To get to the top, you have to clear some route. And sometimes the way to get there is very, very not a very friendly way. But yes, go ahead.
Sharing cars, they should have not pretend anything like that. Now, let me tell you, what's his name? This guy that works in the Cool FM, he used to say something. We have a weak institution, but we have powerful people. Now, the constitution, I'm not going to wake up now. It's already late. One push now, I'm going to hit 50. Now, if you look at Nigeria, the constitution and the National Assembly plays a major role. If you look at Donald Trump, you can tell he has a tendency to be a dictator.
100%.
To have a National Assembly that is strong. There's nothing. Look at the way they change the national anthem. Oh my God, Nigeria is a joke. That's when you have people, the National Assembly needs to now go around and say, you know what, we're going to restructure everything when you don't have to. Because my dad, for instance, my dad was in the army. I wanted to join the army. Do you know, I started going from Obas to Oba because I didn't want to join the army. I didn't want somebody to come and kill me for nothing. So I wanted to join as a cadet. So when I did, we went round. I could not get someone to sign for me. Even though I wanted to die for the country, to join the army. I couldn't. But you see all these guys from the north, because they know their way. So what they need to do is to look critically. Each committee need to sit and look at the country and say, hold on, what's going on? Let's spread this thing around. Let's have a constitution that says the president cannot just wake up and say, want to change the National Assembly. But when you don't have Peter like the so-called Senate, the what's he called? The man from South who will say the high have it. The man was clearly, openly saying, off your mic. Oh my God. People like that should have been taken off. His head should have been taken off. There is no way that man on camera said, off your honorable, you guys, your he was, I said the money to you that this man is now running the country.
Just imagine the National Assembly, the State Assembly in America will just wake up and they are changing the national anthem of America overnight. Oh, just hold on there, please, because TikTok just asked me now to encourage my followers. I just want to encourage you. What we are doing here is my page is not monetized, but you can support by gifting. You can support by subscribing. It's not a lot of stuff. If you support us by subscribing, then we get a little token every month. TikTok take their own, and one come to my pocket. Good platform don't rise if people like you guys are not supporting. I am not here to beg for gift, but out of your heart, you can gift us and support the page. You know, Daddy Free said it. If you're on social media and you're not asking, people will not give you. So ask and you shall receive. And I am asking. God bless you guys. Go ahead, sir. Mhm.
Strong. These guys who are in the National Assembly, these guys are businessmen. They're not going to do it. I'm tempted to want to be a teacher, but this is not the set of people to do it. They are not. People who earn 30 million a month will not do it. If you tell them, see, we are borrowing money to pay your salary, let's cut it, they will not agree. And if you stand up, they will reach you out of the country. They will send bombs to your house. That's how scared Nigeria has become. I just hope something will be done. But I know that population is our strength. But at the end of the day, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. And otherwise, you will not be in our lifetime.
Thank you so much. I want to bring Peter back again. Mr. Peter, go ahead again. I know you've been listening.
Thank you again. So me, my own opinion will be kind of different a little bit because I'll stay insisting that this one wrong. I didn't see anything working. You just said something about the house now. These guys are a bunch of fools. So those guys, they don't even know what they are doing. They will go to Aso Rock, they will just do academy, they will just collect money and they'll come back the following day, they'll just say trash. I had an uncle in that house for 8 years. That guy has never opened his mouth to say something. He spent 8 years in that place. He never said one thing before he died. So what I tell you, majority of them, they don't even know the meaning of representative. The majority of them, they are just kind of opportune that, okay, this village, you are the one next on the list. So you have to go, everybody will support you. They don't even know what they are going there to do. That's how you see them. Some of them, they will be sleeping and they just read their, if you say hi, yeah, I have it. Everybody just raise up their hand. So how could you just wake up one day and just change the national anthem without any discussion,
How many of us here can sing the current national anthem? Even the old one, we are struggling to sing it.
They said for the old people, so they still believe the old people owns Nigeria. That's why it's not going forward. They don't want to accept the technology age. They don't want to accept the Gen Z age into the system. So that's why everybody is kind of setting back. So I'm still insisting that the best thing to move that country forward, they have to sit down. Okay, let me something just popped into my brain now. When Jonathan wanted to leave, Jonathan made a big mistake. I know that guy will be regretting his action now. Jonathan had the opportunity to write a lot of story. Same thing as Obasanjo. But unfortunately, they mess up. Jonathan spent a lot of billions of dollars to do confab, to restructure this country to where it's supposed to be, as in like a little bit. Unfortunately, you had a report, you kept on to report, you hold on to the report as if you want to use the report in your house. You are expected to come back the second time before you can implement the report. That's why he got it wrong. And if he implemented that result immediately, he got it. Things should have been better a little bit now, because I know it's not going to be better, to be sincere. It's not that somebody is causing Nigeria.
Somebody asked me a question on YouTube now, and I'm going to answer it. Diaspora Diva, thank you so much for joining us again. You're my sister. You say, Mr. Ben, if Nigeria divide, which part will Kogi state, your state, go? Biafra, Arewa, or Oduduwa? Now, this is a very important question as a minority from Nigeria. That is a very important question. Now, this is why I advocate for what I advocate for, and why I believe it will always benefit the minority within if that happen. If you have a 60-bedroom house, are you guys listening? If you have a 60-bedroom house and you now bring it together, now constrain it, it will be more beneficial. For example, if the nation is divided into 3 or 4, whatever Kogi fall into, you cannot tell me now we'll become a little bit of a bigger lion in that small part of this country that we created than what we currently are as a whole Nigeria entity. So I will not, because of selfishness, and I'm like, okay, I don't know, I don't want to go with Igbo, I don't want to go with Hausa, I don't want to go with Yoruba. For that reason, Nigeria should remain one. It's not working for anyone. It's a selfish idea. In my own opinion, neither will go back to parliamentary system of government where everybody will have their regional system, control their resources, but the North will go to war if that come into place. If Nigeria decide today that we are going into that, the North will go to war because they never believe that they have anything to contribute into Nigeria. They never believe it in the first place. They never believe that they have anything to contribute into Nigeria as a state. But they have so much to contribute. One of the things, Mr. Peter, can you mute yourself? One of the things the Northerners have to contribute is the food production, the agriculture. This is the biggest thing consumable. They have that. But they concentrate their attention on the oil. The oil belongs to South. Let them control their oil. Let's buy from them. No way, it's a small country. They have oil. The other country in Europe are buying oil from them. Scotland have oil. So many countries in Europe have their oil. Then we'll do trade together. But let me tell you something. This conversation we have now, our children, our grandchildren, our grandchildren will have this conversation. Because I don't see it changing. We got to be honest with ourselves. Because it is an inherited problem. Our children will inherit it. Our grandchildren will inherit it. Our grandchildren will inherit it. Because we are not ready to deal with the main problem. We should not be together. I have some statistics to show to you guys here. Listen. These are the countries in Europe. Okay. The biggest country in the European continent is Russia. They have 144 million population. That is twice. Nigeria is twice of that size. Russia. Germany have 84 million. United Kingdom have 69. Earlier I said 68. They have 69 million. Let me tell you how many countries. And all of these countries identify with their language. In the UK alone, they have 4 countries in within. Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Then if we go back to other countries, we have countries in Europe that have 1.3 million. Estonia, Northern Macedonia, 1.8 million. Latvia, 1.8 million. Slovenia, 2 million. Albania, 2.7 million. This country, if you open the visa department today, say visa free to Albania, the whole Nigeria will move to Albania. The whole Nigeria will move if you say you can travel to Albania for free. Iceland is less than 400 million. No, what am I talking? Iceland is 363,000 population, people. Andorra, 81,000 population. Monaco, 38,000. They are a country on their own. We can go on and go on and go on and go on. What makes all this KKK country different is 3 things that I've mentioned when I started this conversation. Language, culture, identity. Why can't they join together? Austria, let me see. What is the population of Austria? 9 million. They share almost 3 borders with Germany. Why can't they be together? Why are we not being... We can beat her. If me and you, if 3 of us now have this conversation and we agree, it's not working. It's not working. We cannot. It's like telling me something that it can never work. Then I'm giving excuse. It can never work. We must divide it. It is, in my own opinion, it is something that will work on a long run. European, they fight war, different kind of war, in order not to be in each other's neck. Today, they live in peace and harmony. Their now war is diplomatic. But we are scared to go to war since 1960, after the Biafran War.
Nigeria doesn't want to fight war. They always want to enjoy it. They don't want to face reality. That's just the problem. Even we don't need to fight war. They just have to face the reality first, and just from there they will move on.
The reason why they are not fighting war is because the people that kept us in the farm want us to be agreeing together for them to benefit. It's a concentration camp. And for me, as educated I think as I am, as enlightened I think as I am, it is practically impossible to see other way out. We can apply different method, regional government, different this, different that, different that. In short, that will really make it difficult. The first thing we need to see, let us sit down together and say enough is enough. And that's why the only person that can do that will be the British coming together and say, okay, we need to divide you guys now. It's not working out for you guys. But they're not going to do that because they benefit from it. They benefit from it. And I said it earlier, when a Latvian president comes to the UK, he speaks Latvia to the UK president. Doesn't mean that he can't speak English. That is his identity. That is his culture. I know this is a very difficult opinion of mine. Let me tell you today, for you to know that we don't have a country. We are just pretending. I just told you now, Latvia, they have no gold. They have no mineral resources. Just announced today, Nigerians can travel to Latvia directly. What do you think will happen? Let the House speak on that. Mr. Abiodun, go ahead. Mr. Abiodun, I said if Latvia, which is tiny country, open visa free for Nigeria today, what do you think will happen?
Side with that. Everybody will leave because this is Matthew's theorem. It is there. People will not stay and starve. That was what God the Israelites, if you want to believe the Bible, got them out of that place and do long truth. Go Egypt. Go search for greener pasture. So everybody will leave to agree with you. Because right now, I agree with you. There's no country. It is just survival. It's either you join them or you do what? Or you shake out. And now to even leave is now becoming difficult. When some of us left, it was in 1 million or 2 million. Now to leave, they're talking the kind of money that we're talking about. We're talking 30, 60 million. Do you know when a friend said they left with his family and they spent almost 60 million to Canada? Like 16, do you know what that is? How much that is? Just imagine the hopelessness that you don't see hope in 60 million. You are ready to use it as a transportation to get out. It's so sad and it's so institution, I don't talk like I'm the president of that country, Traore, who look at everything and took over the government and say, look, guys, this is not, no, this thing with this fund is not, this is not how things should be done. But this National Assembly or these guys, nothing is going to work. Nothing. I have friends here who will tell you openly, they're here, they can call him and say, but if the governor of their state, Ogun State, Kwara State, Anambra State, call them, they come and be my SSS, they will run back because to make 1,005 pounds, 2,000 pounds here, you are going to work hard. But to just follow one governor or carry fire, it's easier. And you enjoy your life, you enjoy the convoy. And so I do. That's why I say at the end of the day, it's down to the people. The power is in the hands of the people. They will be paying a bit, but not this kind of pain nobody's talking about where he's the one buying Jeep, driving around Escalade, changing aeroplane. Everybody will roll their sleeves like Che Guevara. When they get to Che Guevara, when they were starting Cuba, they told him that he told them, I don't need that. There's something needs to be done. You don't roll your sleeve like everybody. Don't come here and try enjoying the love. Tinubu's enjoying his life. How he's flying around. You know how much it costs to fly around like that every time you get. You're like politically, there's some entitlement that you get out. You don't even need to steal. You don't need to be a MFA. What you want to do is 700 houses. A man of 75 years old. What do you want? Because he does not see Nigeria as his own. He just want to acquire it because everybody's thinking, take what you want. I've sat down with a senator before in this country, and I'm talking passionately. He said, Mr. Ben, it's finished. Come to Nigeria, collect something, and sort your family out. A senator. At that time, he was a sitting senator. He said, come to Nigeria, hustle your way, collect your money, and live your life. Dino Malai, he did the same thing. He's enjoying his life now. In short, he come out to taunt you on the social media that he has made it. Say for instance, if you earn between right now in your country, Nigeria, if you earn between 700 and 1.5 million, you should be fine. But because of tomorrow and because the way things are going, can you imagine people? The egg that you eat here, I can fry 7 eggs only just to thank God sometimes. But you can't even fry 2 eggs. I'm gonna, Mr. Abiodun, I just want to ask a question in the house and for posterity and for those of you guys on YouTube. This question I always ask: when something is failed, what do? You find a solution. Okay, and I'm going to give you example now, and I'm going to describe something, and I want somebody online to tell me what they think, and somebody that may watch this video later. He said a failed state, a definition of a failed state is that a failed state has lost its ability to fulfill fundamental security and development function, lacking effective control over its territory, border. Common characteristic of a failed state include a government incapable of tax collection, law enforcement, security assurance, territorial control, political, civil office staffing, infrastructures, maintenance. When this happens, widespread corruption, criminality, the intervention of a state and non-state actors, the appearance of refugees, involuntary movement of people. This is first state. Nigeria is a first state. Everything I describe here is a first state. About 2 weeks ago, the military went into a village and basically pied two community. Two community pied, and nothing happened. Then when you talk about Lagos, you see people that want to share rice, and 35 people fall down and pie because they went to collect rice out of desperation. Yesterday, I was watching a video on Tunde North page. Petrol, the guy was driving and his petrol tank busted and the guy began to block it. He began to block out of desperation. If that happened in this community where I'm sitting down now, the whole community will be evicted and taken to a hotel until they make sure that everything is clear. Every functioning of a state has been depleted.
During this Christmas, I have seen what a failed state actually mean. Individual achievement is what we just worship during the Christmas. You see one person with 10 police officers, 20 police officers, and we have 300 senators. Each senator at least travel with 4 police. Times 4 police times 300 during the Christmas. What do we have there? That's a failed state. Who protect the ordinary people? Nobody. Then the governor will have 36 governors. Each governor go at least with 30 police officers. Times 30 police officers. That's a failed state. I don't think the Prime Minister of Britain have 5 police officers protecting him 24 hours a day. I don't think King Charles, Prince Harry want to come back to the UK. They told him, you're no longer working for us. We cannot give you police to protect you. Sorry, you have to hire your own protection. A failed state is what will operate. There has to be a revolution. And I know I'm scared to say it out louder. It happened in Europe. It's happening in Russia right now. It has to be. It has to. There is no way. And it has to. The people have to make a conscious decision that these leaders have not listened, and we have to be. There has to be a complete revolution for the country to ever have a chance of succeeding.
Don't you know where they wash cars? Don't you know where they go and carry dog? I used to do that. It's not a shame. But this generation make money quick, just standing on TikTok and become the next pillar. They don't want to do anything physically. They don't want to. That's what got me. That's why I'm so scared. If you watch, pay attention, and I'm watching it, that generation, they don't want to do that because they believe it's hard. For instance, do you know in my school when this former head of the House of Commons in Nigeria version was because we did a lot of construction in the school area. Do you know the commission? I mean, the guy who the project to do some of the contest and we're telling people, come on, let's employ you. Do you know what they were doing? They would rather come and say, let's give us money. The people that are doing the hard work who are digging are the guys from the north. That was when I knew I was giving. This I'm talking about 4 years ago. These guys were my people, that generation. They don't want to do it. They would rather sit down and be smoking weed and just going on that little master. And I was watching, oh my God. You could see that they are bookies. It's unfortunate that some of those guys in the north have messed up the guy. To me, if I start a restaurant right now, based on what I know of my skill, I would employ somebody from the north. I will not employ my own people. I am telling you, I'm a young man, see my name. I don't have anything against them, but based on the guys who want to do the work, I'm not talking generally like that. I mean, these guys don't want to work hard. They don't want to do it. They will rather do, okay, do something, don't do scam, do something. Because it has now affected that population. That's why if you see the boss that happened 2 weeks ago, it's somewhere in the note, a whole bit of God, may God help us. It's okay, may God help us. It is bleak. There's no hope. Somebody can spend 70 million. Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun. As we round up, I want to thank all of you that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is what we do on this platform. We come, we have a conversation because I believe that on social media, it's not all about shaking yash. Sometimes serious conversation like this is needed. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter.
as we discussed. As I said earlier in my introductory remark, I do not in any way bias over any ethnic group in Nigeria. I'm only talking that conversation need to be had around this area. I am not advocating for any particular tribes. I am advocating for sensible conversation, critical thinking, analyzing the issue as it comes, and applying solution. In disagreement, we agree. I have said what I said, and you have said what you said. Thank you so much for your contribution, and let's connect later. Thank you, and goodbye for now. For those of you guys on YouTube, thank you for joining. Make sure you take your time to subscribe to the channel on the YouTube. You are not paying for it. All you need to just click so that my next video, you will have a notification for it. Thank you, and God bless.